Here we have the weather group. The weather group lets you go out using the either the Weather Channel or the U.S. National Weather Service, in which case the Weather Service here is offline at the moment. If you have this set to auto, it'll automatically show you the weather at that place. The Weather Service goes on and offline. It's not highly reliable, but some people like to use it. Underneath this is a short list of the contacts. Over on this tab, you have a more detailed contact list, but we show some of the contacts on the front to save you having to go into the Contacts tab. Over on the left side, we've got Activity, shows you their current AR, their high balance, last payment amount with dates, their current open orders, month to date, sales year to date, trend sales. The trend sales is updated based upon a nightly process that you can say, I want to show the last 3 months, last 6 months, running 12-month sales. Their last order date, quote, and sale date. And you can run an aging query here that will show you their current aging. So that's the Overview tab. On the Accounting tab, we have what the finance charge you charge that customer is, how many NSF checks, how many bounce checks they've done, what their billing cycle is, and what their AR auto post is, which is what account in accounts receivable sales to this customer get charged to. Normally, they'll get charged to the trade or general sales or trade sales to third parties. However, if you have a parent company or a subsidiary company, you actually want to charge them to a different account, because those sales you're not going to get cash money for, so you don't really want to show them in your accounts receivable. You're going to get reconciled using some sort of intercompany reconciliation. So when you set up a parent or a sibling or a child company, you'll use a different AR account than your regular trade account. Then you've got a vendor customer number. The vendor customer number is what customer number you have, what vendor number you have from that customer. So for example, Bay Area Systems considers our sample customer here as vendor number 48253. This is necessary with some EDI transactions, or some customers require on an invoice that you provide your vendor number with them to make their life easier. Then on the credit side, we have how long their longest late is. We can say hold orders over a specific amount. And this is frequently used if you have fumble finger salespeople, where instead of putting in an order for 10 chairs, they put an order in for 1,000 chairs. And you don't want that to process through the system without somebody taking a look at it. So you can say, for this customer, they normally buy orders of $500 or $1,000. Any order over $5,000, I want to take a look at because it's a little bit unusual. Then you have the skips holds field. This is sort of like the check credit field. It allows you to identify certain holds that should be not used for this customer. For example, if you have a sibling company that you sell to, or a parent company that you sell to, and you sell to them at cost or at very small margins, you don't want the orders to go on hold for margin hold. So you would put an M in here saying, don't do margin hold with this company. You could put a C in to say, don't do credit holds with this company, so that you don't have, or a price hold, so that you don't block orders for companies that you don't want holds checked or specific holds checked. Then you have a credit rating field, which is just a field to store a credit rating in. And then you have average days to pay, which is updated as part of a nightly process. I'm going through this stuff pretty fast, so please speak up and stop me if you need more detail about any of these. Then we have the bill to address. The bill to address is different from the customer's address. The bill to address is where the invoice should be sent. For example, Pacific Bell has 300 or 400 different operating locations that can be treated like customers because they place orders independently and you sell to them independently. Or someone like Office Depot. Office Depot has many Office Depot stores, and you may set them up individually because your salespeople visit them and market them and you want to track sales, but all of the invoices go to a central facility. So the bill to address basically means, where do I send the invoice to? Then we've got tax information. Taxes for people that sell retail, which even though we have primarily distribution wholesale customers, a certain number of them do sell retail. We allow you to store a tax ID number. We allow you to store a tax type. The tax ID number is usually their federal ID number. We let you store their tax type, which we looked at yesterday, is either exempt, export, government, resale, or retail. We store a tax code. The tax code is the specific taxing authority that determines how much sales tax you need to charge them if they are retail, and the date that we loaded the tax code. You can refresh it, and that will go out and pick up the latest tax code for that specific customer. Then the customer may have a separate tax number, and we let you store sales tax certificates. If you ship to multiple states, like most of our customers do, and you don't want to collect sales tax in that state for that customer, you have to have a sales tax certificate from each state. And we allow you to store that in the system for the state, when it expires, what the tax certificate number is, and an actual image of the tax certificate number, which this is a test system, so I've got stuff floating all over, because the tax authorities require in most states that you not only have their tax number, but you actually have a copy of their tax certificate, and they will accept images. So every year in December, you need to run one of our queries and send out a mailing to all of your customers that don't have to pay tax to get their retail exemption certificate, and then you need to scan it, attach it to the customer record. Now this is a little bit cross setup, because if it's a retail customer, they don't need a tax certificate. If it's a resale customer, then they have to have a tax certificate. In order entry, if the customer is flagged as resale and you don't have a tax certificate, it's going to go on an N hold. N meaning no tax certificate, or a tax certificate that has expired. When you enter the customer's zip code here and hit return on it, the system will go out and look in either the zip code file or run a web service to get the correct tax code for that customer if you have Nexus.